Hi guys, welcome back aboard good old Athena. Today, for the first time in 3 months, we are actually going to be leaving the marina. We're going to be heading from Gosport to Chichester. We're heading to Chichester both because it'd be nice to get out and see a little bit more of this part of the world, but also because there's a super nice guy there that has a workshop we can borrow to take care of some woodworking projects, like for instance making new companionway doors. If you're new to our channel, my name is Mads and this is my fiance Ava. I've spent the last 5 years doing a somewhat extensive refit on my 1987 Warrior 38 named Athena. That involved all kinds of fun stuff like building a new rudder using vacuum infusion, gutting most of the interior to make structural repairs, and then subsequently rebuilding most of the interior. I also rebuilt the entire deck and painted the top sides. All of that fun is documented in hundreds of videos here on YouTube. Last week was a big week here on Sail Life. We installed our super spiffy new Rainman watermaker. I did a quick test last week just to see that there weren't any leaks, but we haven't run it for a prolonged period of time and we haven't tasted the water it makes yet. So that we'll be doing for the first time today, which I am super excited about. The boat is almost ready for us to get underway. There are still a few more things I just need to secure or put away. While I'm doing that, Ava's going to do a last-minute grocery run.
Yesterday I did a small provisioning trip. We're only going to be gone about 2 weeks, but the grocery store in Chichester isn't very close to the marina. We can definitely walk there or take public transportation, but we thought it would just be easier to get all of our groceries before we left. Right now I am headed up to the store again to pick up a few last things that I couldn't get yesterday, and it's a little cloudy. I'm hoping that it clears up before we leave. It's actually not that cold outside. It's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 10 degrees Celsius, I think, maybe. And of course, there's glorious Aldi, but today we're not going to Aldi. Today, we go forward across the street, through High Street, then we go across the park, then we get to Asda! Asda is about a 5-minute walk from Aldi, which makes it only about a 10-minute walk from the marina, which is really nice because Asda is a much bigger store. We do pretty much all of our grocery shopping at Aldi, but we come to Asda for things we can't get. For instance, like the very important tortillas for taco night. I don't know if these are specific to the UK, but I've been seeing these. They're like little stubby carrots. I love them. I have to get them. Guilty pleasure. Now we have everything we need for Chichester. Now it's time to head back to Athena because we have quite a few things to get ready before we leave. Got everything back to the boat. Now it's time to put all this stuff away and then clean the rest of the boat. We have a few bits and bobs to put away. As you can see, everything is gracefully shoved into the locker because right now before we go sailing we have to clear everything off of these ledges because we don't have any lips, but that is something we hope to work on when we're in Chichester. Another project I want to work on when we're in Chichester is organizing this beast. This is the locker above the freezer and we decided to make it into a pantry. I want to sew vinyl boxes to put everything in so it doesn't fly around when we're sailing. It's probably gonna fly around today, but that's okay. Everything's put away, so now into the locker of shame to put the backpack away. Just gonna shove it in there somehow and close it quick. Everything is so shamefully shoved inside of that locker because we had to pull all of our clothes out of the V-berth locker because the insulation we put up in here wasn't quite thick enough and we're having a little condensation issue. So we just shoved everything in there and then we kind of procrastinated to buy more insulation and now we've finally bought it, but the shipping is taking a really long time. I think it's coming from Poland, but hopefully it will get here when we're back from Chichester and then we can get the clothes out of the tall locker and organize the V-berth.
When we come back from Chichester, we're going to have some modifications made to our running rigging. And as a part of that, we had a pair of riggers swing by just a few minutes ago, and one of them spotted something. A missing cotter pin down here. That is no good, so I am definitely going to want to replace that before we leave. It looks like I could have gone with one that was a lot smaller, but this will do. We're going to be leading some lines aft to the cockpit, for instance the furling line for the mainsail, and we're probably also going to be switching out the staysail boom for a furler. The guys we're going to go with are located right over by that white crane. They have a pontoon at their place we can tie up to, and I think we might end up going straight there after our 2 weeks in Chichester. It would be awesome to get all of this rigging stuff figured out.
You may not know this, but tape is actually super important for sailing.
Especially when you have a bunch of stuff that's not really all that well secured yet. We still need to add some AC outlets here, so yeah, hence the tape, but yeah, that's gale force secure. It's also really great for lockers where we don't have the striker yet.
Make sure your locker's taped. These might need a little extra tape. Make sure that one's taped. These two down here.
Now one of them is okay.
Well, we get to save some money on tape then.
Last but certainly not least, tape is great for, of course, door handles, as we've demonstrated here in the past. I know a lot of you guys are anxious for us to fit the door handles, and that will happen at some point, but for now, we're also going to be taping the door. Whenever we're coming into or leaving a marina, we like to wear our Merit Savers. These are just wireless radios that makes it super easy for us to talk to each other, even if Ava's up on the foredeck and I'm at the helm. The batteries are fully charged, so we just have to pop them in there, and then we should be ready to untie the lines and go. Let's get our AIS turned on, and let's get the VHF turned on. Our first stop is going to be the fuel dock to fill up our tanks.
Marriage saver time. Mine's a little big for my head, so it's better when I have my hat on.
Mine is a little small for my ginormous head, so it works best with the hat off.
Breaker, breaker, 10-4. Okay. Goodbye, muddy area and barge that we always see get covered in water.
We have successfully made it to the fuel dock. It's only going to be about 3 hours to get to Chichester. It's going to be a lot of motoring, but only 3 hours. We have plenty of fuel for that. It just makes sense to top off the tank, seeing as we're right here. Let's get all of the diesel from the day tank transferred into the galley tank. So this tank should start going down and this one should start going up. We only have a deck fill for the day tank, not for the galley tank. So that's why we're transferring it using that pump.
It's 90 seconds to get the pump to the deck fill. 10, 9,
okay.
8.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
The fuel here does seem pretty good, and I don't know if we could be filling the tank quicker without the funnel filtery thing there, but yeah, why take a chance?
I am loving the color of this red diesel. Forget Chichester, we're just gonna be sitting here fueling for the next 2 weeks.
I think maybe we should spring for the bigger size funnel doohickey, because this is painfully slow.
Yeah, like the super size.
Both tanks are full. Let's get out of here before they start charging us property tax for staying at the fuel dock.
So long, Portsmouth. How's it feel to be out?
It feels great. It's a little cold, but great.
Yeah, when are we installing that outdoor heater?
Never.
It's starting to rain just a little bit, and these are the times when I'm really looking forward to our partial enclosure, because if you're standing or sitting right here, you're going to be completely sheltered from all of the rain. Pretty much just gray and gloomy, not much to see today.
Last week I installed our new watermaker, but I only ran it for a few minutes because we were in the marina. We're now far away from the marina, so let's get it fired up again. And let's bring up the pressure so we can get some glorious fresh water flowing. We've got a green light down here in terms of TDS, and it looks like we're making a little over 120 liters an hour. The LED on the control panel gives us a good indication, but just for the fun of it, let's check the water with a TDS meter. It looks like we're sitting at 446. I just checked, and the World Health Organization says that anything below 1,000 is acceptable and anything under 600 is considered good drinking water. In terms of energy consumption, it looks like we're sitting at around 1300 watts. A second check in a much cleaner plastic cup about 10 minutes later, and we're down to 407. Just for the fun of it, let's get a reading of the water in our water tank from the marina. That is sitting at 618. It's been another 5 minutes and I've just grabbed a fresh sample of watermaker water, and it's now down to 379. The manual says to run water through the filters for something like 20 minutes before you start filling the tank, and we're pretty close to that, so let's start putting water into our tank. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but right now we're at 0% in our water tank. Everything looks good here in the technical compartment. No leaks, no weird noises. And the tank is already up to 25%. This is freaking amazing. This red marker is where we're gonna make our turn in towards Chichester. It is a little bit narrow here, but it's fairly well marked, so it's not too terrifying. It's just very close to the shore. Ava's getting our fenders and lines ready. We have to get in through the lock here at Chichester. We've made it, and we got this handy dandy map of the marina, so let's go ashore.
The first thing I like to do when we get to a marina is check out the facilities. And also our key fobs from Gosport should work, so we're gonna go test them out. The laundry is nice and close.
And the facilities.
Ooh! Oh yeah, baby, these are nice. Like oh yeah, baby. These facilities are really nice. I'm so excited, and I know we have a shower and everything we could possibly need on the boat, but right now, because we're working on it so much, we have projects piled up in the shower all the time, so it's nice to have really neat and clean facilities to come to. Like I said earlier, I want to make vinyl boxes for the food pantry in the forward cabin. When we decided to make that into a pantry, we knew we had to come up with a way of preventing everything inside from rolling around. I pretty much searched the entire internet for boxes, but I just couldn't find exactly what we were looking for. I wanted something that was clear, that we could see what was inside, but I also didn't want anything that was too plasticky or rigid, so we could use up all the space that was in that locker. So I thought, why not make it myself? This is cell life after all, right?
That's right. Get to work.
I already made a test one and put it in the galley here for all of our container lids, and I love it. It fits so nicely and it keeps everything nice and organized. And today, to get this pantry looking organized and spiffy, I want to make 6 more. 3 for the middle shelf and 3 for the top shelf. And I promise they'll turn out better than my shelf. At least I'm crossing my fingers they will. First, I marked where I kind of want each basket to be, and now we have to pull everything out of here so we can start making templates. In order to make the templates, what I did was first decide how big I wanted each basket, and then I made a template of the space on the shelf where each basket is going to go. So you can see here, there's the angle of the shelf relative to the hole. And then I decided how tall I wanted each basket, and I made another template of the whole basket, and I gave myself a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then I cut it out of my vinyl. And I also cut out a little rectangle because I want to make a handle for each basket. And now all that's left is to sew the basket. For a real simple strap, all you have to do is cut out a 3.5 inch wide strip of vinyl. You fold it in half, sew down one edge, sew down the other, and then you cut off the folded edge, and there's your strap. Next, what I do is find the front of the box, and then you're going to want to place your handle on the front of the box. Now, I chose to do it in the center, or as close to center as I could get it, but you can choose if you want it higher or lower, and then just clip it to each side. Sewing the box together is actually really simple. Unfortunately for this project, it is the prep and templating that is the bulk of the work, but what you're going to do is just take 2 corners, fold them together like sides together, line them up, and then just sew down this edge. And what's really cool about vinyl is that since it sticks to each other, you don't really need to clip them. You just line up those edges and you can sew. If you do want to clip them, I recommend these little plastic clips. They are really awesome for vinyl and they hold things together really nicely. You're going to do the same thing for the sides with the straps. You want to have this lined up real nice. Make sure that your strap is sandwiched in between these 2 pieces, which are still right sides together. And once you get this lined up real nice, you're going to then move the clip to the outside. Oh yeah, she is snug as a glove in there. The last step of the box is to sew an edge all the way around the top just to make it nice and sturdy. And what I did was when I was making my template, I left a little under of an inch seam allowance just so I could fold that top over and clip it. And that's when these clips really come in handy. This is actually one of the trickiest parts because I am essentially sewing through a window right now. And voila, there you have it. All snug as a bug, and there's still plenty of room back there to fit more. So, 1 down, 5 more to go. And bam, just like that, 6 containers are done. See, you can reach inside, get what you want, everything's nice and secure, and also we'll fill them all up so when we're sailing, things won't shift around.
And with that, we'll end this week's video here. I hope to see all you guys back here aboard Athena next week, where we're going to be making new companionway doors, new companionway trim in maybe the world's spiffiest workshop. But yeah, more about that next week. As always, feel free to leave a comment down below, and don't forget, if you've enjoyed this video,
please remember to leave a like.
See you.